So, Rowan,
Mm-hmm.
I heard you were the leader of a cult.
I was Okay, listen. I was suspected. Apparently.
Never convicted?
No. And I didn't even know. I had no idea until after the fact.
That you were leading a cult?
That I was suspected of being leader of a cult. So, okay, so...
Tell the whole story.
A million years ago, I was in college. It was my first college. I was at an art school, and I got a letter in the mail. So they knew where I was. It went to me at college. And I got a letter that was basically congratulating me. It was like, hey, just letting you know, you have something that has been stricken from your permanent record. And I thought, oh, so not very permanent. And I read it.
Permanent record.
Yeah, you're sort of permanent record. You're kind of permanent. So I looked at it, and it said that I had been suspected of being the leader of a cult.
Which is impressive for a high schooler, really.
Yeah. And I was very confused by this, and that seemed important enough that they probably contacted my parents, I would imagine. If your kid is being suspected of being a cult leader, you call the parents, right? You let them know.
Unless the parents are in the cult.
I don't know. So I called my parents. I was like, hey! So I got this letter, that someone must have told you, right? What is this? And my mom said, oh, yeah, your dad's the one who actually picked up the phone for that. And what do you mean? What do you mean? Apparently, my dad picked up the phone, and the person on the other end of the phone said, sir, your daughter's been accused of being the leader of a cult. And he didn't think they were kidding. He didn't think it was a prank. He didn't think it was, some sort of mistake. He believed them. But he thought it was totally chill. He responded with this news that I was apparently possibly a cult leader with, good leadership skills. She should put that on her resume. Click, hung up the phone. That was how he ended the conversation, according to my mother.
Just did not entertain it at all.
Didn't even say goodbye. Didn't even say, what proof do you have? He believed them and decided it was fine.
They probably thought he was part of your cult.
I don't know. They didn't call again. And I was kind of flabbergasted by that, because what do you mean? And so then I went later that year. I went to go visit my old high school, because this was back before, when you could still, go to your old high school, and you didn't need, an appointment, and you didn't need to, get through armed guards and shit. You could just kind of show up. That used to be a thing you could do. Not these days. So I did that.
I don't know how things work these days, but I take your word for it that you have to go through security.
There's a lot of security. At least for most high schools. And so I just walked in, and I said, hello, I've returned, I have questions. And I talked to my favorite teacher, and I asked him, did you hear about this thing? I don't know if this was a thing that other teachers would even know about, but, apparently I was suspected of being a leader of a cult. Isn't that funny? And he said, oh, yeah, I know who did that to you. What do you mean? Who did this to me? It was another teacher, a teacher who did hate me. A teacher who, I had called her out a few times because she kept assigning us things that I had just done in favorite teacher's class, a week prior. So it seemed to me that she was just, stealing the lesson plan. I was right. She was also the one who, I was in, a fashion class or whatever at one point, and she refused to teach me how to use the sewing machine. And I did it. I completed the assignment. I liked the thing I made. We were just making, pin cushions or whatever. And she picks up my thing and goes, oh, you're not very good at this, are you? Puts it back down. She was a bad person. I didn't like her. And I didn't know why she didn't like me. But when I left her class, when I went to the guidance counselor, I was like, hey, I hate this woman. And pretty sure she hates me too. And I'm failing this art class. It's the only art class I'm not getting an A in, so I'm just going to go. When I returned to the classroom to collect my things, the teacher said, I wasn't going to fail you just because I don't like you. Which I thought was a funny thing to say to me.
Implies that she was going to fail you. And also that she doesn't like you.
And the guidance counselor told her what I'd said, which is rude. So yeah, that bitch is the one who apparently asked for me to be written up. The way it went down, though, is she had tried to get me written as being a suspected leader of a gang.
Well, why were you suspected of being the leader of a gang?
That one is more understandable to me.
Oh, please go on.
So, okay, so me in high school, right? Me in high school, I've got giant goth boots with buckles and shit, and they're like knee-high, and I've got striped tights, and I've got a black corset on, and just tiny little shorts, and a black leather jacket, and too much eyeliner, and dyed hair, and that was what I wore, and spikes. I wore a lot of spikes, and that's what I wore pretty much every day, was some variation of that. And then my friends thought, that's neat, and they also started wearing striped tights and black leather jackets, and one of them had like a vintage leather jacket from their family, and like it was a thing that we all were just a gaggle of these angry teenage girls wearing leather jackets, and so
you were a clique.
I can understand. Don't matter. Yes, we were. So I understood the idea of being.
Everyone, comment what you think Rowan thinks I meant when I said you were a clique.
So, I understood gang. And then there was some sort of paperwork error, I guess. I don't know. Somewhere along the line...
Synonym replaced.
Yeah, gang became cult. That's very different, but because there was no corroborating evidence, I am no longer suspected of being the leader of a gang or cult.
So you got away with it.
Though if it was gang, I wonder if it wouldn't have gotten erased. I wonder if that's, like, less ridiculous. If maybe it just would have stayed suspected and not, like, needed to get proved.
I feel like, especially given the mindset around gangs when we were in high school, I think gang would have been more difficult to remove.
Yeah, that's what I'm
because
thinking.
you had to, you've had to prove that you weren't in a gang or the leader of a gang, whereas cult was like a silly thing. Like even after like Waco and stuff like that, people didn't take the cult stuff that seriously because they were very gang violence is a problem, but cult violence just happens internally, so no one cares as much.
I will say, if I was like the leader of a gang, I wasn't very good at it because I was never there. Like my friends would stay after school, go to the library, hang out. I would just go home, or I wouldn't go to school to begin with because I was sick all the time. Like I was not an active leader of anything.
Plenty of people run criminal enterprises from prison. You don't have to be there.
I think, like, cult leader, though, that I could send my minions, whatever. Oh, that, too. I used to call my friends my minions. They let me call them my minions.
You're still friends with some of those people.
Yeah, not all of them. That's understandable. But some of them. But, I liked... my father, when Pikmin first came out, he bought it for me and said, look, it's minions. Like, he was all about me having minions. And I'm realizing now, piecing together, that my dad really was all about me being the leader of a cult and or gang and having minions. He really liked that a lot. I'm realizing now. Welp. Hope Dad's proud of me.
You know what? I think someday you will lead a cult. I believe in
you. That's too much responsibility.
We can be the figurehead.
No. Rock on.
Rock on.